Anything to add, Chewie? Rainbow Six Siege. Or Siege. This doesn't fit in with the direction I've been going for other games in Have You Played ... yet ? This is a much newer game and a much more popular game, or a much more well-known game at least. It only came out in December and there have been quite a few people extolling its virtues, but these are my videos and these are my rules. And I make them up as I go along, but don't tell anyone that. But I think it is fair to point out Rainbow Six Siege as one of those games that might have been overlooked in some way or left on the scrap heap, because it already kind of has been. It's a really good game. I'm having a hell of a lot of fun with it, even though I don't play it all the time because it's online and online games make me want to cry a little bit. But when I do play it, I get a hell of a lot of enjoyment out of it. One of the main reasons I like Rainbow Six Siege is because it reminds me so much of SWAT 4 and SWAT 3 to a lesser extent. SWAT 4 is one of those games where you hear not many people talking about it, but when they do talk about it, they really, really love it. It was a police simulator, kind of, but whereas earlier games have been more simulationary, not a word, this one took it more in the direction of an FPS, but still kept it firmly within the realms of something approaching realism. Like, for example, you had to warn suspects that you were there, and you couldn't shoot until they fired first, things like that. Also, you could shoot an old lady with a beanbag shotgun, which was hilarious, and something I would love to do in real life. It was a really intelligent, smartly made game, full of depth, full of replayability. Reminds me of Hitman in certain ways, in that you can go back to the same level over and again and try it in lots of different ways and just see how it turns out. And that's what I get from Rainbow Six Siege. It is to a lesser extent. It doesn't feel quite as, I don't want to say smart, so I'll say smart, as SWAT 4, but it does feel like a more intelligent game than your usual brain-off shooter nonsense that we get a lot of. I'm nothing against online shooters, Call of Duty, etc. It's just they are run at each other as fast as you can. Whoever sprays bullets the fastest wins. There's obviously a bit more science to it than that, but it's just not for me. Maybe I'm too old, etc. And so Rainbow Six Siege kind of fills the gap that I've had for a few years by being something that can be a little bit slower paced, that can involve a little bit more thought. If you're the good guys starting out, trying to find where the bad guys are, trying to find where they're holed up, trying to find their traps and everything that are littered around, or if you're the bad guys trying to set up your traps and set up your little hidey hole that you're hiding away in, and then all hell is unleashed, or at least, you know, relatively slow hell, because it's 5 on 5 and you die quite easily and quite quickly, so nobody really runs at each other. At least if they've played more than a few matches. You do still get noobs, as I think they're called, just running in and treating it like a straightforward shooter, which doesn't work. So yeah, probably the biggest reason that I'm including this here, one is because it's good, so, you know, the 12 people who watch this video will get my opinion, and if they haven't tried it, might be tempted to try it. And also because it is a game that surprised me for my own tastes, because I am someone who is resolutely single player. I would much prefer to sit with something on my own, be left alone for 200 hours to play it and really get into it, and then at the end of it slag it off for not being good enough, because that's just what I do. And Rainbow Six Siege has surprised me because it is, while not multiplayer only, there are single player things, they're just not worth playing. It is pretty much multiplayer only. And even though that's the case, I'm enjoying it. I'm having fun with it. I'm not playing it as much as a lot of obsessives might, a lot of people who are really committed to the cause, but that's just something about me that hasn't changed. While I might be veering away from the single player thing into more multiplayer stuff, I still am very non-committal when it comes to how long I play these things. So yeah, shooting through walls is a lot of fun. It doesn't look as good as the original Ubisoft video, but then no game does. And while it initially seems a lot smarter than it is, it doesn't mean it's ultimately a dumb game. I'm still playing it even after a few hours, so it passes the test with maybe not flying colours, but colours. And now I'm going to go and, well, not play it, because I'll probably play something else instead, like XCOM 2. Bye!
There you are, you fucking cocksucker.
Mission failed.